systems fail and the sky falls with them, voices will rise from the static. This is the Network Failure Podcast.
What is going on, people? Welcome to the Network Failure Podcast, episode 79. How's everybody doing? Everybody doing all right? That is great. That is great. I was hoping to come at you with some good news, but things looked like they were going in a positive direction with the talks over in Iran, but they kind of took a turn for the worst, and possibly Iran has nukes now, so that's not great. There will be a possible integration of the U.S. and Israeli militaries, like we share their stuff and they share ours, like a permanent partnership. Yeah, Congress is trying to pass that along through, and I think it's already passed committee. So looks like we have a problem. Not like we didn't already have a problem, right? And we got more stuff going on with AI and more legal framework we'll get into. All that and more on this episode of the Network Failure Podcast. All right, before we get started, I want to thank you for listening. Thank you to Tension for the intro and outro. Thank you to all of our Patreon subscribers. And last but not least, thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be here to watch the world burn, because it is going to be beautiful. All right. So starting this off, it seemed like talks over in Iran were starting to move places. It seemed like they were going somewhere. But then we had some exchanges. Iran struck Terminal 1 at Kuwait International Airport, causing significant damage, injuries, and flight suspensions and diversions, and at least one death. It was a drone strike. Kuwait condemned it as a flagrant violation of international law and reserves the right to respond. This appears to be a retaliation to recent U.S. strikes, so we pretty much started it on Iranian targets, including facilities on Qeshm Island and other sites. The U.S. described this action as self-defense after alleged Iranian aggression, and it was preemptive self-defense. Because they believed that they were going to get hit by something, so they went after them first. Pretty much how we started the war. So that, it led to talks kind of going south, and now Iran wants the United States to know that it has a nuke. And we've been saying it all along that we're not going to be the ones who decide that we get out of this war. Take a listen to this. This is a post from Alex Jones. He's got Colonel Doug McGregor on, and he's got an idea on who's pulling whose strings, okay? Check it out.
Israel has veto authority over anything that President Trump decides to do. He is not in charge. He is responding to Netanyahu. The demands he sets forth in front of the Iranians and says, these are the things you must do. They're not our demands. Those are Israeli demands. So somehow or another, how do you break the hold that Netanyahu has on President Trump and the United States government? The president has also dipped into the SPR, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Remember when Biden did this, and this was during COVID, and Trump spoke out and raged against it, saying this was irresponsible and so forth? Well, I found out yesterday that he sold something in the neighborhood of 17.8 million barrels of oil just within the last week.
Nice.
As an effort to suppress the prices of oil, to keep it below $110 per barrel. Well, the problem with this is, at this rate, our Strategic Petroleum Reserve will probably be exhausted by the end of July, beginning of August.
Not good. Not good at all. But they want you to believe that, it's all wrapping up. We have their Navy at the bottom of the sea. It's always the same talking points over and over and over again. This is some of the damage from the airport from Mario Nawfal. The official spokesman for the Ministry of Kuwaiti Defense just released a preliminary statement on the overnight Iranian attacks on Kuwait International Airport. He called the attacks criminal aggression and confirmed that the nation's armed forces have been mobilized to respond to any further attacks. Not good. And let's hear what Fox News has to say about the exchange, all right? Because, we started it with the preemptive nonsense, but let's see what they have to say. They have a different spin.
Fire once again. CENTCOM releasing this statement, quote, U.S. forces successfully defeated multiple Iranian ballistic missiles and drones and conducted self-defense strikes on Qasem Island in response to attempted attacks by Iran.
Self-defense strikes preemptively, okay? They were not being struck. They just know that they would be struck eventually because, you sit there for long enough, you're going to get it. But listen.
Across the Middle East. Meanwhile, lawmakers are expected to vote today on the latest Iran war powers resolution with a strong chance the measure passes. It comes as Secretary of State Marco Rubio returns to Capitol Hill after testifying before the Senate and House that Iran's supreme leader is engaged in ongoing talks with the U.S. Listen.
Talks with Iran are not like talks with Switzerland, okay? They're very different. They have agreed to negotiate aspects of their nuclear program that just a month ago or just a year ago, they were refusing to even mention, much less enter into discussions about. That is not a guarantee that ultimately it will lead to a deal. I think there are indications out there that he is increasingly engaging at some level, although all of his communications have been in writing and through intermediaries.
All right, what's really happening is Iran has said that talks are not even going to start about opening up the Strait of Hormuz or start about nuclear talks at all until all the wars stop. And that means Lebanon as well and Gaza. But with that on the table, it's not going to end because Israel will not allow it to end. And Iran wants us to know that they have nukes. All right, take a listen to this. This is from Mario Nawfal.
Iran is going to withdraw from the Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT. Number 3, and we have confirmed that this is from this intelligence source, and he's not giving opinion, that Iran will then be prepared to do a demonstration of a nuclear weapon that they have acquired with the assistance of a third country.
All right, I forgot to mention, this is former CIA officer Larry Johnson. All right, so credible source.
And I will not mention the country. But it will be not for use. It will be to demonstrate that leave us alone, like North Korea, we got a weapon now. So, again, we got this information on Friday, but the first point, that they were going to withdraw from the negotiations. And what did we get this morning at 10 a.m.? Well, 10 a.m. Eastern time, my time, probably 5:30 your time, p.m. They're withdrawing from the negotiations, and they come back to, the blockade. It's got to be lifted. No more attacks in Lebanon. No more attacks in Gaza. Hence, now what we were told is that this information was given last Friday to Marco Rubio. Not to Mario.
I got worried. Don't drag me into this. I'm not the source. I'm not the source of North Asia.
I got it from Mario Nawfal. No.
Give me a heart attack. I don't remember sharing anything like that.
Marco Rubio. And it was the Pakistani foreign minister told him this. So that's why I say that I think Marco, after getting that information, may have needed to have had a change of underwear. But I believe that this is why I think that this is true, because it's within an hour of that announcement that Trump's on the phone immediately with Bibi Netanyahu saying what Axios has reported, which I think is an accurate rendition. So
I agree.
This helps paint a broader picture of what's going on behind the scenes.
The hate of men will pass and dictators die.
Yeah, so Trump got on the horn with Netanyahu and called him fucking crazy. So things are getting spicy. Things are getting spicy. All right, what do we got next? From Interval News, well, the Pentagon seems to be trying to cut its budget because they quietly shut down its civilian death prevention program. And that's the excuse they're using on why we killed 156 people at the Manab school in Iran. Let's check it out. The Pentagon defunded its own civilian harm program months before the U.S. missile killed 156 people, including 120 children, at a school in Manab, Iran. A federal watchdog confirmed the military didn't comply with a single legally required protection. The program lacks staff, funding, and tools to carry out the required oversight. Nice, right? That's some of the stuff that Trump defunded. But, they're almost at $1 trillion. But, or is it over $1 trillion? I forget. It's pretty crazy. All right, let's see what Bibi says about the journalist, about them saying that Trump called him fucking crazy. This is another one from CNBC and Mario Nawfal.
So let's talk about the call that you had with him this week, which is getting a lot of attention. The president confirmed that he said you're effing crazy. How did you react to that? What really happened in that call?
Well, I'm not going to get into details of our conversations. We've had thousands, well, a lot of them. And if you think this is a crisis, you should be in some other conversations. But we've always found a way. We have so many agreements. We agree on the main things. We want to get Iran, the nuclear program in Iran, finished. We want to make sure that Iran doesn't pose a threat to Israel, to the Middle East, to America, that it doesn't develop nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them, not only to Israel and to every capital in Europe, but to every city in the United States. That's our common goal. That's what we set out to do. And to expand the circle of peace, as the president and I did in the Abraham Accords together. So we have common goals. Sometimes we have, as in the best of...
Now, you hear that? The Abraham Accords. That is part of it. That's part of the goal, to get all of them to recognize Israel. Trump already came out and stated it, that was pretty much, it was contingent on that happening. And he walked it back a little bit, but I think he let it slip. All right. Next up from Whitney Webb, Jared Kushner is offering everybody his carrot. All right. From Suppressed News, Jared Kushner says countries that normalize with Israel through the Abraham Accords will be rewarded. Check it out.
And to promote the Abraham Accords to, make the ones that are existing stick, and then also to find new opportunities. So I have a partner, my partner Asher, who I mentioned before. He's actually of Moroccan descent and actually of Syrian descent. So we've been looking, maybe there's some opportunities to bring investment to Morocco, a country that I know you're very proud of, to really help them create dividends from the Abraham Accords. And so to show the people there that there can be great rewards, because leaders who join the Abraham Accords, it shows that they're thinking about the future, they're pushing for stability. It shows a lot of wisdom and a lot of forward thinking. So those are the environments where I think investors would want to be in. And I have a lot of American investors who are very who love the Abraham Accords, who want to join us in that. So we're looking at opportunities to invest in countries who have joined the Abraham Accords, but we're also looking at...
So you hear, if you are with the Abraham Accords, you will be rewarded greatly with investment. And this guy holds the keys.
Opportunities to invest in countries that might join the Abraham Accords and to create economic packages to incentivize them. So another one of my partners is Syrian, and he said, Jared, we should put together a big investment package maybe for Syria, so that if they join the Abraham Accords, they could have a big incentive to do it. How amazing would it be to have, a Muslim and Jewish firm working, Jewish partners, with American, working together to try to bring investment there. So something we're looking at. Obviously, there are some complications, but I think there's a ton of potential there. And if they were to join the Abraham Accords, I think that there's a lot of people who would want to invest there to help give them the best chance to achieve their full potential.
So there's a lot of incentives to join the Abraham Accords. All right. Financial, one of the biggest. But you could also put a stop to the war. You know, that's also on the table. But who do we know, right? All right. From this one sent in from Big Zeke from Psychological on Instagram. Well, Murad Baral, Turkish Islamic preacher, says men without beards might cause indecent thoughts in other men because they look like women. God forbid. Turkish Islamic teacher and AKP politician Murad Baral sparked widespread criticism and mockery after claiming that men without beards might cause indecent thoughts in other men because they resemble women. In his statement, Barial suggested that growing a beard is important for maintaining clear gender distinctions and preventing inappropriate attractions. Come on, guy. The remarks made during a discussion on Islamic values and masculinity quickly went viral and were widely condemned as outdated and discriminatory. Yeah, I don't think I need a beard to discern what gender is which, but hey, man, if you have shaven men turning you on, you can't just put that on everybody else. Maybe that's your problem. All right, we've got a nice one here from James Lee. This is kind of scary because they're looking to merge the Israeli military with the U.S. military, and they've hid it in a section in the National Defense Authorization Act, something that they get to pass every year. So they're looking to pass this, and it's already gone through committee. They already tried getting the clause out, and they couldn't take it out. Check it out.
They are trying to take over our country. Congress quietly moves to integrate U.S. and Israeli militaries. To put it bluntly, they want our military to be theirs, okay? The 2027 National Defense Authorization Act would, quote, all but fuse the two countries' armed forces together. And that is only one of a laundry list of items that Israel has taken to try to take over our country.
Quite a year for Israel. Buy TikTok and censor. Buy CBS and censor. Buy CNN and censor. Buy influencers. Charlie Kirk gets killed. TPUSA becomes more Israel. Geofence churches. 1,000 pastors become Israel ambassadors. Replace MTG with pro-Israel. Replace Massey with pro-Israel.
Once again, it's Israel's world, and we are just living in it.
Pretty interesting, right? Pretty interesting. All right. This is from APAC Tracker. This is a little more on the section 224. A new section of the law in the National Defense Authorization Act, or NDAA, would give Israel unprecedented access to American technology and would force the United States military to integrate Israeli defense technologies into our own critical military supply chain, giving Israel incredible leverage over America's own defense priorities. Nice. Very nice. And Thomas Massey was trying to get it taken out. I think him and Ro Khanna were trying to have it taken out, but that provision stayed in. And it's kind of interesting because Israel just got caught spying on us once again.
Israel has been caught spying on the United States yet again, and it's so bad. The Pentagon raised the threat to a critical level. This is the highest danger level that the CIA can place on another country, and they just slapped it on Israel. CIA has released a 7-page document accusing Israel of tapping into the president's phone calls and stealing documents. This comes as they discovered that the Mossad has been actively recruiting moles within the CIA to give up information to the Israelis. The problem is that a lot of these moles come from that specific religious group tied to Israel that are in the CIA.
Yeah, we're going to fuse our military with them. Is that so they just don't have to spy on us? Come on.
Meaning, due to religious laws, the CIA cannot arrest people or question them based on their religion, even if they're giving documents to the Israelis. That's why all the government can do is simply raise the alarm to a critical level, the highest level. But lawfully, they can do nothing about it, and the Israelis are just going to continue stealing American information, including tapping into phone calls, forging documents, collecting signatures. Israel has denied this, and the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs called it an anti-Semitic trope.
Oh.
Israel has been caught spying.
So that's what they're doing it. They're labeling it antiseptic and calling it a day. All right. More on the raised intelligence level from Mario Nafal. The Pentagon raised Israel's counterintelligence threat level to critical, the highest possible designation, over concerns Israel is aggressively spying on top U.S. officials. According to U.S. officials, the Defense Intelligence Agency issued the assessment in recent weeks because Israel is making a particular effort to surveil top U.S. officials to get information on the Trump administration's internal deliberations and decision-making on Iran and Lebanon. Yeah, read that again. America's closest ally is now rated a critical counterintelligence threat, the same tier as hostile foreign powers, because it's spying on the president's inner circle to find out whether he'll resume bombing Iran or sign the deal. Yet Congress is trying to pass this little section through in the NDAA that we merge our military with theirs and share everything, so the spying doesn't have to happen anymore. This is fun. This is very fun. All right. More on Section 222 from Mario. Section 222 of the new defense bill might be the most consequential provision nobody is talking about. It makes the U.S. Israel military relationship permanent by design. The United States Israel Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative mandates the Secretary of Defense appoint an executive agent to oversee joint weapons production and the linking of military systems and data between the two countries, expanding beyond missile defense into AI, drones, and cyber operations. Former State Department official Josh Paul explains the actual mechanism. What Congress is trying to do now is find different ways of entrenching the relationship so deep in America's own defense industrial base that it's impossible to root out. That's the entire play in one sentence. Aid is a check Congress writes every year, politically vulnerable, debatable, and cuttable. Integrated production lines, shared AI programs, and linked military data systems are none of these things. Once American and Israeli factories build the same weapons together, ending the relationship means dismantling your own defense industry. The exit door gets welded shut. The debate Americans think they're having about Israel's relationship may already be over. It's being settled in committee, and it has already passed committee. These are the two gentlemen that were trying to get it pulled out, Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna. And from what I understand, it still went through. And they're not trying to hide anything. Here's a letter from Benji Netanyahu to Congressman Stutzman. This is a post from Gen X Girl 1994. He goes to say, I was glad to receive your proposed congressional resolution endorsing my plan to shift the framework for U.S. Israel defense cooperation from aid to partnership. He admits it. I am heartened by your enthusiastic support for our plan to develop a new memorandum of understanding with the United States government that will draw down U.S. financial military assistance over the next decade and replace it with what you refer to as a new framework or defense cooperation. So you remember he was saying that he didn't want to be on the United States teat anymore? No, he wants to move the fuck in and be married. Cooperation, co-development, co-production, and mutual co-investment in areas including advanced missile defense, artificial intelligence, unmanned systems, cybersecurity, and next-generation military platforms. So everything. That's very nice. Our closest ally. And we know some of their greatest hits, right? Yeah. I'm not going to repeat them because I don't know what YouTube is doing now. But we know some of the greatest hits of our greatest ally. You know, it's never stopped. The CIA has never trusted the Mossad, ever. They're running around using burner phones now because they can't trust them. It's crazy. More crazy stuff from MJ Truth Ultra There are mysterious gentlemen in the middle of the night going into manholes in New York City. Do we have a false flag coming up? There was another incident. It occurred New York involving mysterious groups of people thought to be foreign are entering and exiting manholes in the dead of night. Videos show different groups equipped with flashlights, waders, and other gear disappearing underground for hours before reappearing on city streets. Maybe they're just going on like fishing. They're looking for gators in the sewers. No, this is pretty scary. And you're not seeing this on mainstream news, folks. You know what else you're not seeing? This from Technology on the Gram. Google is planning to release 64 million mosquitoes in the U.S. They're not normal mosquitoes. These mosquitoes carry a naturally occurring bacterium called Wolbachia. While infected male mosquitoes mate with wild females, the eggs fail to develop, reducing mosquito population over time. How the system works. Wolbachia-infected males are released. They mate with the wild females. The eggs never hatch. The mosquito population gradually declines. It's kind of what they're doing to our society, how, women don't want to mate with men anymore because they can't stand all men, right? So this is just a chemical way to do it, or a bacterial way. The goal is to suppress disease-carrying mosquitoes without spraying large amounts of insecticide. No, I get it. I just think that it's pretty scary. The approach has already been tested. Yeah, California Debug Project nearly eliminated target mosquitoes from 3 test sites in California's Central Valley. Singapore Trail reported more than 70% reduction in dengue cases within 12 months. Google says over 1 billion mosquitoes have already been released across multiple countries. That's great. The proposal would allow up to 16 million of mosquitoes per year in Florida, up to 16 million in California, and up to 64 million total over 2 years. The EPA has not approved the project yet and will make a decision after reviewing public feedback. Well, speak out, folks. Speak out about the mosquitoes because they're about to release some genetically modified mosquitoes in your area, possibly. Wild stuff. All right, we got some more crazy news. Nothing that we didn't know. Documents are showing that Epstein was advising Obama officials on Bitcoin, sanction evasion, and terrorism financing, and Iran, while he was already a convicted sex offender. So they didn't distance themselves like they should have. No. Check it out. It's from Redacted.
Stunning new investigation from Dropsite News reveals that Jeffrey Epstein advised the Obama administration about cryptocurrency while the White House was negotiating the nuclear deal with Iran. Here is the story. I encourage you to read it. According to the report, Treasury officials consulted Epstein about Bitcoin, sanctions evasions, terrorism financing, and the future of digital currency as the administration tried to tighten pressure on Tehran during the nuclear talks. Now, think about how extraordinary this is. This is during the Obama years. Jeffrey Epstein has already been convicted as a sex offender, and he's welcomed with open arms by White House counsel, the Treasury, other globalist elites, political elites. How does this happen? This wasn't a man exiled from power after his conviction. He was still moving comfortably inside the highest levels of government and finance in the Obama White House. The investigation also reveals that Epstein met with senior Obama officials connected to the Iran negotiations, again, while simultaneously heavily invested in blockchain technology, cultivating relationships throughout the emerging cryptocurrency world. Joining us now is one of the authors of this report, Murtaza Hussain. Thank you so much for joining us. It's shocking. I mean, you can't really say like, oh, Obama, he's not in the Epstein files. No, a lot of his administration was. Can you explain this?
Thanks for having me, guys, and thanks for highlighting the story. So it's very interesting because people often talk about Epstein's political role and his associations. Very interestingly, his associations for most of his life, at least, were very predominantly on the more centrist liberal side of the political equation. And that was internationally to a degree. It was the Democratic Party in the US, the Labour Party in Israel, and the Labour Party at that time in the UK. So that was his nexus.
So, very nice. He was working very, very tightly with Obama as well, even after being convicted. Well, we got some good news on the AI front. From Shadow of Ezra, a small town in Oregon is celebrating after officially stopping a large data center from being built in their community. The LA Pine City Council voted unanimously to reject the proposed project. The proposal called for a massive 20-megawatt data center, which raised concerns among residents about energy use, water consumption, and noise, and whether the project would truly benefit the community. BlackRock and Palantir frequently appeared in the local community discussions, even though the data center was being built by Boxminer. That's pretty interesting. So BlackRock and Palantir were still there, even though they had an interest in it. Apparently, YouTube is blocking anyone who criticizes data centers, according to the Health Ranger. That's crazy. Kyle Seraphin posts, "Hey, YouTube creators, have you lost your minds? You nuked my stream discussing American opposition to AI data centers, flagged it as praising, promoting, aiding violent extremist or criminal organizations." That's, you see, they're already flagging stuff for this AI shit. Already. Good thing it's such a, miracle of innovation, and it's going to be so great for humanity. I mean, let's check this out. This dude asked AI to predict the next 10 years. All right. We're supposed to be using it, right? So let's just use it as a clairvoyant. Let's check out what the prediction is from AI. How's our next 10 years going to be?
Where do you see this civilization going in the next 10 years?
The next 10 years are going to be wild. Here's what I see coming. AI is going to take over most white-collar jobs by 2030. Lawyers, coders, accountants, radiologists, all of it. The job market's going to get brutal for anyone whose brain
That's true.
is their main asset. Inflation's going to stay sticky. Your dollar's going to keep buying less every year. Wages won't keep up. So most people are going to feel poorer, even if the numbers look bigger. Fertility rates keep dropping fast. Some countries will start paying people to have kids, but it's probably not going to work. Population decline is going to hit the West hard around 2035.
They're already paying people to have kids here. The $1,000 for every kid that's born after 2025.
Governments keep printing money to pay off the massive debt they've racked up. That creates bigger financial bubbles and uglier crashes. And people are going to lose even more trust in institutions. Media, universities, government, banks. That trust collapse is the one that changes everything. It's going to feel like we're accelerating toward the edge of a cliff, but nobody knows yet if we're going to crash, swerve, or sprout wings on the way down.
What's your prediction?
My honest prediction, by 2035, we're going to feel like two completely different countries living in the same borders. The top 20%, people who own assets or work directly with AI, will be doing better than ever. But the bottom 60% are going to be squeezed hard. Jobs disappearing, real wages falling, prices still rising. That gap turns into real anger. You'll see massive political instability, not just protests, but actual governance breakdowns in some cities and states. At the same time, a ton of people are going to start checking out of the system completely, building local communities, parallel economies, homeschooling networks, crypto, whatever lets them opt out. The wild card is AI itself. If it keeps getting smarter faster than expected, it could either replace so many jobs that society breaks, or it could become the tool that lets regular people create wealth outside the old system. I think we muddle through, but the 2030s are going to feel more like the 1930s than the 2010s. A lot of old assumptions about how society works are going to die in this decade.
Pretty crazy. More like the 1930s than the 2010s. That's what it's looking like. It's not looking very good. I still have hope. Don't worry. I still have hope, but I'm talking about spiritual hope. I don't know about hope for our economy or our wallets or anything like that, man, because it is looking crazy. And anybody speaking, now Kevin O'Leary's going around, and they're pretty much stating that most of the noise that you're hearing, the political pushback about these data centers, they're not real people speaking out. They're actually bots. Let's check this out from Santa Trump.
I have another mission that has emerged from this that I did not see coming.
I'm going to speed it up.
And
though.
maybe we want to segue into what happened the evening of May 4th at 8:30, because I have 12 million plus followers on various social media platforms. I got a call from one of our IT guys, and he said, there's something wrong here. There's a massive influx in DMs going on two specific platforms, X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram. Not a small increase, tens of thousands of % increase. I said, well, is it a mistake? Is there a technical glitch on these platforms? He said, unlikely. They're two different complete platforms. So he had a first look and he said, wow, there's a lot of similar IP addresses here. And so we did an initial scan and we realized, wait a second, there's bots operating here. There are nefarious accounts out of the country dumping stuff that's completely false about Utah. So we didn't wait. The next morning we hired and started working with a very advanced data science team. And what we learned was, to me, shocking, just stunning. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I still can't, because I'm getting the data by the 4-hour cycle now. The content itself was coming from two batches, like the actual pixels, the images were from the Party for Socialism and Liberation and the People's Dispatch. I'd never heard of them before. You do a search on them, you'll find them under investigation by multiple branches of Congress. Most of within the IP addresses in Utah were coming from two IP addresses, Alliance for a Better Utah and one called Elevate. So we found out that Alliance for Better Utah was actually a tax filer. And we went to the IRS Form 990s, which are public. And we started to drill down into what the filings were. And lo and behold, multiple filings through multiple entities all over the world, all going back to something called Arabella. Neville Singham, under investigation. Multiple branches of the government.
So that's where he's pointing all the fingers. All right. It's Neville Singham. They're creating bots. It's all socialist groups. It's not people in their own communities saying that they don't want the data centers. Because a reminder from powerful countries over on Instagram, that's the account. Over 1,000 leaked documents confirm that the FBI will classify citizens opposing AI and data centers as violent extremists. Well, that's a good thing that AI is so great, isn't it? Yes, it is wonderful. From Wired, oh no, we went through this article. Yeah. U.S. law enforcement warns of anti-tech extremism as AI hatred grows. As Americans stew over the looming risk of job-stealing AI and data centers in their backyards, the feds are raising the alarm about a new category of threat. Next, Virginia residents are complaining that they're breathing the emission from 10,000 diesel generators. This is an article from the Washington Post. As data centers boom, Virginians breathe the exhaust of 10,000 diesel generators. Imagine that going off in your backyard. And Jessica Rojas posts, I received word from a family member with insider knowledge yesterday that due to how hot the water they use to cool down the data centers gets, it actually begins to vaporize, releasing unimaginable concentrated amounts of toxic water treatment chemicals into the atmosphere. So that's good too. There's always a plus. From Johnny Midnight, Erin Brockovich is tracking these data centers. She obviously knows what's going on. Well, as long as Erin Brockovich is on it. This is a crazy one. This is from Winkle and the PBD podcast. All right, imagine a data center not being in your backyard, but being built into your home. All right, check this out from PBD.
Apparently it is. Spana, California-based startup has developed a small fractional data center or nodes called the XFRA units. The idea is to take advantage of unused electrical capacity on local grids, which the Span smart panels can pinpoint. NVIDIA GPUs are powering the units, and the Pulte Group is testing the system in a handful of communities. Tom, your thoughts on this story?
Well, what's really interesting is, you started with homes, and as we started getting things like I'll say something. Low voltage wiring. What is low voltage wiring? I don't understand that. Guess what? That was fiber and stuff that were in your walls. So suddenly, Pulte Group and others were adding that to your home, and so you could do it for alarms. They were pre-wiring by Windows and things like this, so that when you called ADP and have some in there, it's done. So home building has tried to follow the waves of services that people want to put into homes, right? You don't find, coax going room to room anymore because Wi-Fi powers the whole place. You find things coming up to like a closet where everything can be secured in there. And what I think what they're doing here is they are making it possible to put those nodes up right on the house. And now you say to your house, hey, your house is AI ready if you're going to have a small, LMS, or you're going to have services, or maybe you're working from home or you have a home office. You're now going to have all this available to you. And we're testing this. And we're also testing the energy part of it. So I think it's great. I think it's Pulte riding the wave and trying to stay in front of the kind of things that people are going to want on their new house. It's like when you got into Microsoft, it never worked very well. Microsoft will hate that I said that. But you remember Microsoft first put their stuff in the dashboard? What was it, Ford or G? I think it was Ford. Oh, yeah. Microsoft put the thing in the dashboard, and it didn't really work well. And then later, CarPlay on Apple, as long as CarPlay could work on your dashboard, it was great because you had CarPlay on your phone, and whatever you had on your phone was suddenly on your dashboard. It was the same thing, Pat, as when the automakers made it easy for us to drop our phone into the center console where there was an inductive charger there. You didn't even need a cable, and it could talk to your car. This is Pulte doing the same thing, riding tomorrow's wave to give you what you want in your house. So you buy a new house, and then you have to say, wow, now I got to spend 10 grand wiring and doing all this stuff. Nope, you can buy it, and thanks to NVIDIA, it's right here.
Jeff.
It's wired into your house. That's wild. And they'll actually pay you to run it. Pretty wild. I don't know if it's going to be great for your, the radiation and everything like that. It might give off some EMF or something like that. But hey, man, it might work for some people. Well, Wall Street Apes posts a new mass surveillance system is introduced in America. There's a clip, so I'll let the clip speak. Check it out.
If you thought flock cameras are bad, law enforcement now has a system that identifies you based on the signals coming off of every single device you have, and it has a public product page out there right now. I'm Marshall. I talk about cybersecurity news and things that affect everyday people like you, so please follow me to stay informed. It's called Signal Trace, made by Leonardo. It collects your Bluetooth, your Wi-Fi, your RFID signals from your phone, your smartwatch, your headphones, your car's radio, absolutely everything. Then it builds what they call an electronic fingerprint, and their website gives an example of this. So picture 70 cars drive by one of these systems. Every car has an iPhone, but not every car has the same iPhone model, same smartwatch that's on you, same headphones, same everything else. So it builds a profile based on you, not just your car's license plate anymore. So that combination is unique to you. They don't just need your license plate anymore. They don't even need a picture of your face. They just need the signals that your devices are already broadcasting. It can work in malls, subways, any public place, pretty much anywhere this can work. And then all of that information is going to get stored on a server where it can be searched for later. This isn't some random theory, it's real. There's a product page out there, and I'll put the link in the comments so you can go see it yourself.
So we are creating digital fingerprints for them to track us all by ourselves. That's crazy. From the InfoWars tribe and Alex Jones, a Utah physics professor just compared the proposed Utah Stratos AI data center to the explosion of 23 atomic bombs a day. The numbers check out. Stratos campus, 16 to 17 gigawatts thermal load per 1,468 terajoules a day released. Hiroshima is 63 terajoules. That's 23.3 bombs a day of heat. That's nuts. That is crazy. It's giving off 1,468 terajoules a day. And Hiroshima put off 63. That's nuts. So cow farts and your car are bad, but this is good for you. All right. Okay. All right. Well, China's got a solution. China, this is from Technology on Instagram. China is expanding a new generation of underwater data centers, placing server-filled modules beneath the sea to power growing AI demand while using naturally cold seawater for efficient cooling. Now that's thinking. Off coast of Haiyan, a 1,300-ton underwater data facility operates around 35 meters below the surface with sealed modules housing hundreds of servers. The computing cluster delivers power comparable to about 30,000 high-end gaming PCs and can process roughly 7,000 deep-seek queries every second. Wow. Helping support large-scale AI workloads while reducing energy consumption. China is already scaling the concept further with a commercial underwater data center project near Shanghai that is expected to rely heavily on offshore wind power. Supporters believe the approach could reduce electricity use, save fresh water, require less land, and become an important part of future AI infrastructure worldwide. Well, it looks like China, they're trying to preserve their population. Their population is in decline, so they're not trying to kill people. But over here, they don't care. They don't need to put the data centers underwater. That's okay. All right. We got good news from Virginia, though. About Virginia, how they banned assault weapons and everything like that. Well, prosecutors are refusing to enforce that. Check it out. From OAN.
Virginia prosecutors are revolting against their governor's most recent gun control legislation. On Thursday, the attorneys of Appomattox County said that she won't enforce Governor Abigail Spanberger's measure. The bill bans the purchase, sale, and transfer of all assault guns and ammo and magazines. Spanberger claims this will protect families, but opponents say the bill is unconstitutional and an overreach of the state's executive branch. Virginia prosecutors are revolting against their governor's most.
So that's some good news, right? That is definitely some good news. All right, we got good news for this guy. He got a pardon from President Trump. Trevor Milton. GOP else goes. Trevor Milton. President Trump has pardoned Trevor Milton, a man convicted of stealing $695 million from investors. The pardon came after Milton donated nearly $1 million to Trump's PAC. That's good. That's really nice. Very nice. Well, Peter Thiel is moving to Argentina. Him and his family will be moving to Argentina. So that's cool, right? Wonder what he knows. What does he know, right? From the Gateway Pundit, Seattle's new socialist mayor flatly refuses to investigate fraud at Somali day centers. So they don't even care that they're robbing us. They don't even care. Okay, from Redacted News, nearly 2 million Ukrainians are reportedly dead. Check this out.
What does the United States do? What does U.S. Congress do? Send senators into the bowels of Ukraine to once again reiterate that we stand with Ukraine, seeing an opportunity, of course, right now in order to funnel more money and launder more money through Ukraine as the massive money laundering operation that it has been, of course, for Democrats, defense contractors that you like, the largest money laundering operation perhaps in history unfolded in Ukraine. So we need to keep that money going. We need to keep it flowing. And we don't care that nearly 2 million Ukrainians have now been killed in this war. 2 million. Keep the money flowing. So here's Senator Blumenthal just a short time ago saying we're here. We're here, and you know what? We're not going anywhere. Watch.
First, let me just dispel a couple of myths. America is not leaving Ukraine. Our diplomats are here to stay.
No, the forever war.
We're standing behind Ukraine, as we have done from the outset. We will not be cowed by Russian threats or bullying. We're not scared, and neither should the people of Ukraine be cowed in any way by this bullying.
Don't be cowed. Don't be cowed.
He just pissed himself when he saw that. Wow.
There's video now circulating of Putin literally peeing in a corner. He's so scared of Richard Blumenthal.
It's true.
What is the United States?
I think I've seen it. Well, this is strange. We've got footage here of special forces, and they're conducting operations in Long Beach, California. Interesting, right? Yeah. There's the helicopters landing. They're dropping their troops. Looks like live urban warfare going on. That's strange, right? Or is that totally normal? Well, we've got wars going on all over the world. So where are our special forces supposed to practice? You know what I'm saying? They've got nowhere to practice. All right, this is the last one before we go. Peter Thiel, he's going to Argentina. He's moving everything to Argentina. So do these billionaires know something we don't know? Check this clip. Maybe there's an escape plan they have.
The world's richest billionaires suddenly try to flee the country all at once, an elite tracking system will now trigger an apocalypse alarm. An American programmer has officially launched the Apocalypse Early Warning System. The concept is simple. It monitors the exact flight data of over 11,000 private jets owned by the world's elite. The system filters out normal air traffic to isolate the specific transponders of tech moguls and politicians. If the tracker detects a sudden, massive swarm of billionaire jets all taking off at the exact same time, the alarm jumps to level 5, which is called duck and cover. We already know elites are obsessed with apocalypse insurance. Mark Zuckerberg has a fortified compound with a massive underground bunker in Hawaii, and OpenAI executives have literally admitted they plan to build bunkers before unleashing advanced AI. Unsurprisingly, billionaires are biting back. Elon Musk famously banned flight trackers on X, and the U.S. Congress is currently reviewing a privacy act to hide private jet broadcast data from the public. If the billionaires lose their privacy, we get a front row seat to their escape route. If the alarm goes off, where are you heading? If the world's richest
So pretty interesting. They set up a system so if the elites all try to flee at the same time, an alarm will go off and we'll find out. What we're going to do, I have no idea. But it's good to know that we'll know that they're all going to be safe at the same time. It'll be like a little early warning device for us. So that's pretty nice, right? That's pretty interesting. All right. Well, as you can see, it is time for me to get out of here. I had a great time. I hope you had a great time as well. There's a lot of stuff in this episode, so I hope you enjoyed it. Do me a favor, if you like the episode, please be so kind and rate the show. Like and subscribe. I can see not a lot of you guys are subscribed, so I'm going to need you to make sure that you hit that subscribe button, all right? Thank you very much. And if you like the show, share it, because that's how the show is growing. I can see that you guys are sharing the show and helping me out, so please allow me to help others out by sharing the show and help me with that algorithm. All right, I'm going to stop rambling. You guys stay safe out there. Have a great week. Love y'all. Peace.